My regrets look just like texts I shouldn't send.
Well, we start our show off with somber news that we got this past weekend, Friday, I believe, with the passing of a great musician, great artist, and Mac Miller. Prayers, condolences, thoughts all go out to his family and his friends. Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
In my own way, this feel like living some alternate reality.
Quick question. Was the summer lit or not?
1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3.
Welcome to This, That, and Third. It's your boy, Quisha T, what it be, with the beautiful
Chris Cynthia Kobe, aka the Urban Queen.
Hi. So, we start our show off, This, That, and Third. We're going to bring you the most accurate opinions.
Right.
Most accurate opinions in music, movies, television, and something else.
Everyday life stuff.
Everyday life stuff. This, that, and the third. And like I said, we started off the top of our show. We were talking about a great musician in Mac Miller.
Right.
And like I said, thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Great artist. He just released an album less than a month ago called Swimming. One of my favorite albums of the summer thus far. Well, the summer, I guess, is ending. So
Yeah.
So one of my favorite albums of the summer. But it did focus on a lot of different things, like depression and him overcoming his battles with addiction and stuff like that. And
Right.
I feel like with his album, he was getting over his depression. He was getting over his issues, like I was telling you earlier about. It seems like he had a lyric where the gray skies were pretty much clearing up, but nonetheless, the gray skies were still there.
Right. I don't know, we both kind of talked about just depression in general and how to deal with it. And I know you mentioned as far as in his album, it seemed like he was overcoming the depression.
Right.
And we kind of touched on the fact that everyone goes through some sort of depression. And depression is not necessarily something you can cure because it kind of comes and goes in waves.
Right.
So it changes from person to person, from person to situation. Like, I'm not sure what was going on exactly in Mac Miller's life at the time for him to one seem to be getting over it and then just for an incident like this to happen. Also, in other news, it's been a lot of celebrity as far as deaths, as far as depression or overdosing and things of that nature. I know Anthony Bourdain was a big one.
Right.
Kate Spade. You mentioned a couple other.
Yeah, the thing that come to my mind when we talk about, dealing with depression, especially
Right.
the celebrities and the people with the notoriety, things like that. But I'm thinking about like Robin Williams.
Right.
A few years ago, suffered from depression. People like Philip Seymour Hoffman, also overdose.
Right.
And apparently he had signs of depression, things like that. And then you also had Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
Right.
Him being a method actor, and he had a whole bunch of strong
Correct. roles
roles that he played in. When you're a method actor, you kind of just engulf yourself into this role, and it seems like that took a toll on him as well. So there's a lot of depression that we don't talk about.
Right.
And you were mentioning when we talked about like the athletes coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of things people keep behind closed doors.
Right.
In African American community especially, we don't go and seek help from therapists or counselors and that nature. But just overall in a society, we don't come out and openly talk about, mental health and things like that. In the last few years, it has been something that has kind of been brought to the forefront as far as taking care of yourself, mental health. I know it was a couple of athletes that actually kind of got that trend going as far as, coming out to the world as far as I got to take care of myself mentally. I'm not sure what the names are. I know that you mentioned before.
I know. So the very first one I know from a major scale, and which was kind of shook the athletic world, you know, when he did it was Brandon Marshall. I believe at the time he was with the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
And he had to, you know, step away from the team and deal with some mental health issues, things like that. But most recently, especially in today's society, it's becoming a little bit more easier to talk about mental health. But you have people like Kevin Love for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Right.
And then you had DeMar DeRozan for the Toronto Raptors. We were watching Hard Knocks, and the wide receiver Josh Gordon coming back. You know, he had to deal with some mental health issues, so it's definitely becoming a lot easier to talk about and a little bit more accepted in today's society. But I think, like you were saying, especially in, you know, predominantly our community, the African American community, we don't talk about issues. I remember seeing one of my friends of mine send me a text message about black people going through issues, and, you know, hey, your mother passed away, and somebody just pat you on the back like, you'll be alright, you know?
Right, which is we laugh at it, but it's a serious thing.
It's a serious thing.
It's kind of like just been passed down to generation, as far as that's not something we talk about. Like, you keep your personal stuff personal, when in fact, you know, you need to kind of cry out for help, because you can't get out of depression on your own. You got those people who are able to, you know, get by and certain things like that, but a lot of times you need someone to kind of pick you up as far as depression goes. And I know, just as far as me and you, we talk about it as far as that's a time where if one of us are feeling down, depressed, or whatever it may be, that's a time where we kind of turn our personal feelings down, you know, and kind of just try and take care of the other person. Communication is a huge thing in any relationship, whether you are married, dating, or just friends, as far as noticing the signs of depression and actually being that shoulder to lean on, or that person that you vent to, and just knowing how to not take it personal, but you kind of doing a service to that other person who may be going through some things.
And when we talk about communicating, and we were just recently talking about Mac Miller and his album, I do think there's a lot of messages within that album that he was trying to reach out, you know.
Right.
I feel like, and he's always been an artist, and I commend every artist that does this. He's always been an artist that put his real life into his music. And with that being said, you know, people that follow him know that he put his real life in his music. It's one of those things that, like, you hearing him talk about, yeah, he's getting better, but he's still not well, you know.
Right.
And so I feel like unfortunately, he lost that battle when we talk about depression or drug addiction or whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean we cannot talk about it. That doesn't mean the next person who has experienced things like this, you have to do the same thing. By living through his music, by understanding his message, we can actually grow within the society when we talk about mental health, when we talk about mental awareness, when we talk about drug addiction, stuff like that.
Right. And just to kind of touch on that, I do want to give a shout out to J. Cole, and I'm not sure if you're the one who sent me that tweet that he said if anybody in the music industry is going through anything, you need to talk to somebody. If you're struggling with addiction, you're struggling with depression, he said feel free to reach out to him.
Right.
So just anybody going in the music game, I'm not sure if you're gonna watch this podcast or not, but, you know, just the fact that J. Cole took a stand and say, you know what, hey, enough is enough, you know, I'm here, you know, reach out to me.
Right.
So I kind of want to extend that as well, as far as friends or anything like that. I know I probably have not been the best of friend as far as reaching out, but, like, feel free to reach out if you're going through anything. Like, just at least make the attempt. I know it's easier said than done, because I've been in a situation where I've pushed a lot of great friends away, but just feel free to just reach out, you know.
And just speaking from personal experiences with myself, who has never was necessarily diagnosed with depression or anything like that, but just feeling the symptoms of it. And, you know, as I, you know, told you, I feel like there was a lot of times where I probably was depressed and just didn't know it.
Right.
Just based on the way I was raised and stuff like that, as we would just jokingly say, hey, I'll get over it, you know.
Right.
But with that being said, you know, feel free to reach out to me. My Twitter handle is Sir Quincy T. The show is This That Third. Just feel like reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, because a lot of times we just need somebody to talk. And me personally, the person I talk to is my wife. She probably hates it at times, but I'm grateful that I have somebody that I can vent to, or whatever issues I'm going through.
Right.
Because if I didn't have that person, I know I can get lost in the sauce or whatever the game may be. Because a lot of things go on in your mind. People don't realize there's so many things that's going on in your brain that sometimes we just need to slow down and just talk it out. And like I said, vent to somebody, something like that. So like I said, you can always reach out to me.
Right.
You can always reach out to the show. We'll be here with a helping hand.
Right.
I do want to give a shout out to Logic. Khalid and Alyssa Cara, 1-800. That's a great number you need to call. A great song. So I'm glad that we're definitely doing it, talking about it in the music, things like that.
Right.
But it's a very serious thing, very serious issue, and you won't just get over it.
You won't. And then last thing, ladies, just to let you know, I know we always want our men to listen to us, but it's gonna be a time, maybe more than once, that you have to be that listening ear. You have to kind of take a step back and realize it's not about you. So him coming home frustrated, one of the things that we kind of share with family members and friends is that if either one of us is having a bad day, call your spouse. Text them, whatever it is you want to say to that coworker, however you want to yell it, like say it to your wife, say it to your husband, and just let them know. Cause it prepares the spouse, one, for when you come home, you may not be having a good day, but then again, we could also be that person to cheer them up as far as throughout the day. But ladies, just listen sometimes. Sometimes it's not about you. He coming home heated. It probably has nothing to do.
Linda, listen. I'm telling you. Listen, my man's had that from day one. Linda, listen. You're not listening. You're just not. But thinking about that, when we talk about music, Mac Miller, R.I.P., there was a lot of great music this summer.
Right.
A lot of great music this summer. People that come to my mind. You just mentioned J. Cole, who I was kind of, I was cold on at first, right? But apparently I came around. J&B, Drake, my man Missouri City, H-Town Finest, Travis Scott, Mac Miller, obviously. You know what I just thought about? Wiz Khalifa had a new album. It was pretty dope. Wiz Khalifa album was dope.
I haven't listened to that yet.
So there was a lot of great music this summer, but I would say this, if I'm just, Dr. West, Kanye West had 5 projects. That was this summer. Like, the summer was lit. So when you say, was the summer lit or not, musically the summer was lit.
And don't forget about Nas. Kanye worked on Nas's project, which I love that album.
Nas is dope. Kanye worked with Kid Cudi, Kid See Ghost. Kanye worked on his own.
Tiana Taylor, right. And my man Push. Shout out to Push. Shout out to 2 Chainz. Definitely getting married. Y'all smart enough. It took y'all a while. It took me mad earlier. I figured it out mad soon. Really?
But Push, Chainz, shout out. So congratulations to them. But Kanye worked on their albums as well. So the summer was dope. And I just found out. Don't crucify me, social media. Ella Mai, not from this country, but she booed up, right? That song is dope, right? I don't know where I've heard the song because I don't listen to the radio at all. Right. Blasphemy. But I know almost every lyric of this song. I heard it the other day and I'm singing it. I was like, where have I heard this song?
We kept trying to figure out where have we heard booed up at to where we know the words. Because I think we looked on YouTube. So we had one random night where we were trying to find some particular song, and then 3 hours of listening to YouTube later, where we just taking it all the way back to the 2K and the 9.
2K and the 99.
But we played the boot up. It's like, we know this song.
We know this, and you know what it was? We was looking for. It was Eminem, because Eminem dropped a new album. Come Back Strong. Come Back Strong. For everybody who thinks Eminem lost this battle. As far as this dissing, first of all, Eminem had half of a verse going to Machine Gun Kelly. Half of a verse. Not even a full verse. He didn't even give him a full verse. I'm going to give you partial of my intention. I got 12 songs on this album. You're going to get half of one verse. And then Machine Gun Kelly makes a 4-minute song. And everybody says Eminem lost. Like, really? You made a 4-minute song? I made an album.
The song, and first of all, the whole song wasn't even about him. He was dissing people
left and right. You happen
to be just get a piece of it. Right. So you, what it say? You got a hotline, got a hot song. Yeah. You didn't even get a whole hotline. So you need to pump the brakes and calm down.
So you Machine Gun Kelly fans, y'all, whatever. I'm not even gonna give you a full segment. So the point is. When we talk about these albums,
right?
I think Kanye definitely set the pace of the summer. It was shortly after J. Cole's, but I think Kanye set the pace of the summer. But I do think the two things that I was disappointed in was Drake and Jay and Beyonce.
I was definitely disappointed in Drake. We're gonna come back to J and B, but it took me back to Views from the Six.
Okay.
Like, what's the number on the album I listen to? 9 is when I actually get to
Yeah.
track 9 is when I enjoy Views from the Six. Our homegirl Laura. Listen, we cannot stand Views from the Six, and it's just like,
Shout out to Laura.
he keeps saying, just listen to it. You gotta give a listen to him sing it.
listen.
No, it's whack. I don't like it. It's
First of all,
depressing.
I'm not even gonna tell you. Listen, so, like, if the music is playing in the background, you got a little party, got some chips and salsa, little guacamole to the right, you know what I'm saying? Somebody coming out, got some hot dogs, maybe White Man Dan is in the back, you know, cooking burgers or whatever.
Shout out to White Man.
So, and then Laura over here got her 19-layer dip or whatever it's called.
Right.
And then you got this random music in the background, you trying to figure out what it is. I'm still here. And I was like, oh, that's Drake. I didn't know that was Drake. So, like, it's great background music. So I'm not going to say the album was terrible. It's great background music. Like, it sets the mood right, you know? But, like, it's background music.
Not looking to listen for it.
Right.
Although I do like God's Plan, which I think was a single. Was it even on the album?
It was on the album.
Okay,
it was on
so
the album.
God Plan was good, but that was pretty
See,
much
I don't know if God's Plan was really that good. Like, I feel like we get caught up in the message in the video.
Well, actually, I listened to it before the video came out. So after I listened to the song, because you would want to like, hey, Drake just released a single, so we listened to it, and then sometime on Twitter or Facebook, one of them, they were talking about what he did during the video.
Right.
So we went back and watched the video to see how it all played out. But I actually just because it kind of took me back to before the playlist, before Views from the Six. Drake got it on.
Forgot about Drake.
Oh yeah, Drake. But I like God's Plan. The rest of the album I would have to go back and listen to, but like you said, so many hot albums came out.
Right.
I'm trying to keep up because I'm more of the movie TV side,
Right.
he's more of the music side, but I'm just trying to keep up. Shout out to Kanye
So the thing about Kanye is he got a lot of, flack or whatever,
right.
Politics aside, I don't really care about the politics or anything of that nature. If he want to make America, listen, everybody want to make America great again. Just saying, who is it great for? But
Right.
everybody want to make it great again. With that being said, he got a lot of slack for dropping, all these albums that were 7 songs deep. Like, oh my gosh, your last album was like 10 songs, or his last album was like
Right.
18 songs or whatever. But most of his albums were at 10, 12 songs, but now it's just 7 songs, things like that. And I was laughing about it because Drake albums are good 18, 20, 22 songs deep, do a disc or whatever, but it's only about 7 songs deep.
Right.
It's only legit 6, 7, and I skipped the rest. So I feel like I said, Kanye set the pace for the entire summer. It was a dope summer as far as music. What dropped before the summer but was still a hot album this year is my man out of Toronto, Tory Lanez.
All right.
Tory Lanez album was dope right there in the spring.
I did like Tory Lanez.
So Tory Lanez album was dope too, but overall I think it was a great summer for music and I quite enjoyed it.
I did too, and I gotta give a shout out to my girl Cardi B. Cause listen, all you want to do is come through dripping, no matter what. Even though when it came out in the spring, that's when it came out. We had this huge argument of when it came. Calm down. When it came out. But shout out to Cardi B, who's been doing her thing. I can't wait for
The Bronx stand up.
her next project to come out because she has been killing it, girl. So proud of you.
Listen, I was a Cardi B hater. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I hated Cardi B because she was just ratchet.
I turned them off.
But shout out to my girl from Jersey, Jackie. She put me on the Bodak Yellow. She was too hype,
What's
and I was
up,
like,
Jackie?
and I was like, you know what, Bodak is okay. You know what I'm saying? But then she came through drip,
Drip.
and then she had the little remix with the Spanish song or whatever, where she's the only verse I listen to because I understand it and I don't understand anybody else. But the beat was dope. I really like that, and I like she had a song with SZA, right?
She had a song with SZA, which is dope. Chance the Rapper, one of my favorite songs because they give a shout out to B. Both of them do actually. Doing the song, and then Moneybag. I like Moneybag. So, like we said, shout out to Cardi B. I hope you keep doing your thing, bringing out great music. Music I did not care for.
Okay. Besides Drake.
Besides Drake, but kind of go hand in hand with Drake on the female side is Nicki Minaj. What's this whole
Chun-Li.
Chun-Li? And listen, I am a Nicki fan until Chun-Li. I try not to get into the whole beef thing,
Right.
Cardi versus Nicki, because at the end of the day, all I want you to do is make songs. I can care less what's going on in your personal life, you know, because your job for me is to do music. So personal life aside, don't care for. But I couldn't get into the whole. I don't know if it was the character she was trying to come back from the whole Meek Mill's breakup and everything, but I just couldn't get with it. So hopefully we'll see some better things from Nicki. But you know,
Well, that was the summer as far as music goes. R.I.P. Mac Miller. A lot of great music coming out. But we'll be back to talk about the music, television shows, and my favorite topic of all, sports.
sports people who don't know.
Sports. Can't do drink.